Hi there, Suzanne Mathis McQueen, author of 4 Seasons in 4 Weeks, and I want to welcome you to the 13 Muses of Your Monthly Hormonal Body Clock. Thank you so much for opting in for this. I wanted to jump on here and shoot a quick video to answer a commonly asked question that is this. Why do I identify the resting phase? Why do I identify the bleeding phase of women with fall rather than winter, the resting phase with fall rather than winter? Because there are, because teaching the female cycle and how it can relate, how it can be broken down into the 4 seasons is not new. I didn't know that until I was writing my book and discovered that that was true. But what I found is that I seem to be the only person that identifies it with fall rather than winter. So let me tell you why. There's a case that can certainly be made for identifying it with winter, but I think that fall fits better for 2 reasons. One is that we're really looking at our cycles as building in energy and deconstructing in energy. We are building a uterine lining to support a pregnancy should one happen. If one doesn't happen, that uterine lining has to come back down and then it gets flushed out in the form of blood. So we are building in energy and declining in energy. And this is exactly what nature does. If we take a look at the solstices and the equinoxes, that's what we're looking at with light. We're building in light or declining in light. And what happens at the fall equinox is that we are going into the darkest time of the year. It's sort of crazy. I mean, I want you to notice it next time it comes around. What happens is that we go from summer and we're used to staying up late. We're not really noticing so much that we're losing light at night for a while because we're just so used to being out in the summer. And we're indoors a lot too with air conditioners and things. But if you like to be out a lot, you just know that the light it stays light pretty late. But all of a sudden, when the fall equinox comes along, it's as if somebody turned off the lights at 6 p.m. Everybody is sleepy so early. It could be 5:30 or 6, and you're all of a sudden sleepy because it's all of a sudden dark, depending on where you live. But it's somewhere in that range where it's just dark early, and it makes you sleepy. Even though the winter solstice is the darkest, the winter solstice, the day of winter solstice is the darkest day of the year, the shortest day of the year for light. Winter solstice is a celebration of light, of coming into the light. And so by that time, we're already kind of tired of being so sleepy, and we've sort of got some energy around coming out of that a little bit. So winter is actually different in that way. But the other thing that I want to point out about the fall and relating it to this resting time of the female is that fall is harvest time. Fall is the end of the former growing season. It's the end of the former gardens that we had. And so your bleeding time is exactly that with your cycle. Your bleeding time, even though we identify it as the first day of your period as being the day 1 and week 1, that kind of thing, it's really actually the end of your former uterine lining. This blood is flushing out your former uterine lining. In this way, it's sort of harvest time. I think of red leaves falling from trees, everything shedding, and getting ready for the next season. So this is the reason I identified this with fall. And then when we get to it, I will identify things around week 2, what I call winter, and why it works well for that week 2 time to be compared to winter. So thank you so much for tuning in on this piece, and I'll see you next time around. Thanks again.